Not long ago, we were stuck, grinding jobs we hated. But there's so much more to life than that.
We decided to do everything that everyone told us could not be done. Now we're flipping houses, we own multiple companies, and we're here to prove that you never have to settle for mediocrity.
I tour with my band, we run our companies together, and we've manifested a life beyond our wildest dreams, all by having the courage to take the leap and ignore the naysayers.
We declared mutiny on the life we were handed. Now we are here to share how we did it with you.
Tune in for inspiring stories, manifestation techniques, and real advice. We'll show you the steps to flip your mindset, your money, and your life.
Welcome to the Mutiny Model.
Ready to join the rebellion? Let's chart your course. Welcome, everyone, to the Mutiny Model, empowering your strategic rebellion. I am your hostess with the mostest, Stephanie, here with my handsome husband, Mr. Patrick WB. How you doing today, babe?
Always good.
Always good.
Always good.
Because you're a manifester.
That's right.
You're a creator of your own life.
That's right.
So, guys, this is part 2 of how to manifest your dream life. And I really want to encourage you guys, if you're just tuning in and you haven't watched part 1, please go back to last Friday's episode and check that out, because a lot of the stuff that we speak about isn't going to make too much sense. And we really got into a lot of the science behind manifestation in that last episode, and we do not want you guys to miss out on that. What we're going to be talking about today is experiences of how we've manifested things accidentally, how we've made mistakes with manifesting, and then also giving you your first steps to start manifesting and talking about what does that actually look like. Okay, Patrick and Stephanie, you've given us the science. We're starting to believe. We're starting to think that maybe this could be a thing. Now what do we do?
Yeah.
That's what we're getting into. How you feeling, babe?
I'm feeling great.
Good.
Well, to kick it off, let me ask you this.
You have a question right out the gate?
Right out the gate.
All right.
Let's get into it.
I'm ready. What do you got?
Because I'm excited. What have you manifested accidentally?
Oh, that's a good question. Okay. My band, my music career. I manifested my music career without knowing what I was doing. So when I learned about manifestation, and I really started to integrate the principles, what I then started to do was to look back on my life and to say, wow, okay, here I am. This is what I want. This is where I'm going. This is what I've done. And I was like, well, what have I manifested on accident? And my band, I really used the power of visualization, because we talked a lot about in the last episode about the science of visualization and how it pulls opportunities into you. So when I wanted to really go from being a karaoke queen to like officially starting a band, I was a nurse at the time. So I did a lot of driving. I was a home visit nurse. And on my drives, I wasn't into podcasts at the time. I would listen to music all the time. And the songs that I would listen to would be songs that I would then come to sing on stage later, right? Because I started a cover band, right? So I was using the technique and the principle of visualization, right? I would drive around for months. Maybe this is like 6 months to a year before I took the steps to start the band. And I would envision myself on stage singing that song. I was listening to Carrie Underwood, Miranda Lambert, like all the people that I wanted to embody my inspiration. I was envisioning that all the time. And it was just me dreaming, right? Like I didn't know that when we envision things, we pull them to us. So fast forward, I put the plan into action, right? So with some encouragement and support from you, I took the step to put out a Craigslist ad. Let's get the band started, right? And I had no idea what I was doing. I had no idea, how do I book a show? How much do I charge? Who brings the instruments? I'm telling you nothing. I knew nothing, right? Why did that Craigslist ad that I put out, why was the first person that responded exactly the person that I needed, that was going to, first of all, become a friend to me? Robert Murphy.
Shout out to Rob Murphy.
Shout out to my bass player and lifelong friend, Rob Murphy. He was going to protect me from a lot of people that were kind of sleazy in the business at the time. I had a lot of responses to my ad, right? And we always joke about that.
Oh, I know.
We were like, yeah, I'll be in a band with you, right? Yeah, I'm a drummer, sure. But the person that I ended up having coffee with at Dunkin' Donuts, he was the one that had connections with people in Berkeley and that was able to put the rest of our band together. He was the one that knew clubs in Boston, how to connect. He was the one that had the sound system, right? He was the perfect person for me to meet, to then take the next steps. And then what happened after that? We found all the right people. Not only that, we made the right moves with our marketing. We hired a good photographer. We got some really good branding going. We got a great logo. We got a great name. Wow, it was Whiskey Wild. And our first show was like at an unbelievable club. It was at Six String now, which is at Patriot Place in Foxborough, but at the time it was Toby Keith's Bar. That's a bar that has capacity for like 1,200 people. That doesn't happen. Okay, so in the world of music, you got to pay your dues. You got to play the dive bars. You got to play the gross restaurants in the corner with the dingy lighting. You have to prove yourself. This is something that, the people in the real world that are not out there like us will tell you that you have to do. But now, looking back, I didn't have to do any of that. I went right to the big stage, the stage that I really wanted to be on, because I had spent 6 to 12 months manifesting a big crowd, visualizing that. If I knew about manifestation, I could have done it quicker, right? Because this is something that I'm looking back on. But it's an amazing example to me, because the point of visualization is that your body doesn't know the difference between what you're experiencing and what you're visualizing. And when I was listening to those songs, I was in it. Like, I was on the stage in my mind. And so when it came time to start the band, I was just like, I'm so lucky. Oh my God, these people are amazing. They're so nice. And yes, sure, like that was a part of it, but I really have to respect my ability as a creator, right? Which is what manifestation is. It's recognizing our human right to create our own lives and to come to this earth and to be able to manipulate energy and to be able to manifest whatever we want. So yeah, I would say that I totally manifested that by accident without knowing what I was doing. And I still sing to this day with a lot of the same people.
Yeah. No, that's incredible. That's incredible.
Yeah. What's your favorite thing that you've manifested?
Ooh, I wasn't ready for that question. So that's good. I think it's not a thing. I think it's my current life.
Just the whole thing.
Just the whole life.
Yeah.
Yeah, because so I think when you start to do manifesting, right, you want material things. Naturally.
It's like the house,
naturally,
the car.
Naturally.
Yeah.
You want the car. You want the private jet.
The Maserati.
You want the house. You want the
Yeah.
Telling Nick that I'm going to help him manifest his Maserati too. Awesome producer. And then as you get older, right, it changes the things that you want, right?
Yeah.
In my case,
Different things become important.
right.
Yeah.
So right now in my life, I prioritize family, prioritize my health, prioritize my spiritual journey.
Yeah.
So it's so funny when I think about private jets, I'm like, yeah, it's still a material thing that I could want. It's not the thing that I want.
It's
right?
not the ultimate focus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But at this point in my life, if I wanted to go on a private jet, I could.
Yeah.
I could experience private jet
Yeah.
if I really wanted to.
Yeah.
You know, if I want to go on a yacht, I can experience a yacht.
Mm-hmm.
So I've gone from like wanting these things to just knowing that in my current life that I have, that I can afford to do those things.
Mm-hmm.
So having the freedom to be able to do the things that I want to do is more important to me now.
So freedom is more the goal versus items versus like material things. I love that.
Yes.
I love that. And I'm very aligned with that.
Yeah.
You know?
We talk all the time.
We
talk all the time.
We be talking, babe. We just be talking.
Oh, I just say you talk at me.
I know.
To each, interpretation.
I sit on the couch at night. I'm like, you ready? You want to know what I learned today?
Yeah. TikToks.
Guess what I read?
Let's watch TikToks.
And you're like, hold on, I'm not ready. Hold on. All right. I need 5 minutes.
We laugh about those things, but I want to tell the viewers that this is something that I love. I love that you bother me at night. I love that I can
with
play.
Random knowledge.
Yeah, I love that I can play with my daughter.
Did you know that the Egyptians had an ankh? Do you know what an ankh is?
All the nonsense you send me. But we watch the TikToks together, and we.
It's all growth oriented, right?
Is.
Some of it's fun, some of it's like funny videos.
It's educational,
but a lot of it is like, look at this. This is cool.
Yeah.
So we're like. And if you do a little bit of that every day, you grow really quickly and you don't realize it.
Yeah, of course.
Because it's like to even taking like 1% step toward your goal every day, at the end of the year, you're 365% closer.
That's right.
Right. So it's like those tiny little moments help.
Yeah, of course.
So even taking 5 minutes to do that. So
yeah.
I want to tell people how to raise their vibration.
Ooh.
Right, because what we're going to get into toward the second half of this episode is like an actual routine that you can start manifesting. But before you can manifest, right, it's like, think of it like filling a container, right? And you got to take some of the negative stuff out before you start to put some of the positive stuff in.
Right.
So just kind of like understanding that, okay, probably once you're going to be all fired up when you hear all this and you just want to go make your vision board, which is fine, right? You want to do things when you're inspired and you feel creative. But if you have that vision board and your life is all, like you're in a toxic relationship.
Negativity, negative people.
You're visualizing for 5 minutes a day your dream life, but then for the whole rest of the day, you're in full anxiety and you're like, this might go wrong in the next 5 minutes, this might go wrong in the next 5 years. You're kind of negating everything that you've done in your morning routine. So I want to talk first and kind of address that. So we all, our bodies have a frequency, our cells have a frequency, our aura has its own frequency, okay? And we're going to bring on screen right now the frequency of emotions. So if you guys will just take a look at this, and if you're listening in the car, just try to, grab the video version of the episode later so that you can see this. So here we have the different frequency of emotions, okay? At the very bottom, we have bitterness, guilt, apathy, unworthiness, low self-esteem, victim mentality, shame. At the very top, we have forgiveness. So these are the most high vibrational feelings that we can feel. Empowerment, unconditional love, compassion, abundance, being of service, freedom, trust, joy, feeling powerful, being generous, living your passion. Those are all things that are going to keep you, emotions that are going to keep you in a high vibrational state, okay? So one of the highest vibration emotions is gratitude. Mm-hmm. So this is why, kind of bringing it back to the morning routine, you'll read a lot of manifestation books, and what they tell you to do is to write down 3 or 5 things every morning that you're grateful for. Mm-hmm. And the science behind that is that actually brings your heart into coherence with your brain, and it actually expands your energetic field when you're in heart-brain coherence. Okay? And so what that does is it opens us up to more opportunities. It raises our vibration. So that should be a part of everyone's morning routine. You mentioned in the last episode practicing gratitude even before you get up and get out of bed.
Correct.
Right? You can tailor and design your morning routine however you want to, however works for you. Maybe you have kids and it's like they come at you first thing in the morning, and then you gotta settle them, and then an hour later you do it, right? However, we're gonna give you the steps, and you're gonna build your routine. You're gonna write it down, and you're gonna follow it for 30 days. What works for you? So having a gratitude practice. This can be mental, this can be in your mind, or this can be physically, you're journaling, you're writing down, and try to think of three or five different things every day that you're grateful for. And you know what? The sillier, the better. I would sit and I would be like, my dog, the fact that I have a pool, my husband, right? But once you start to be grateful for the obvious things, right? Like we're grateful for our family, for the money that we have, for, that we like the cars that we drive. Then when it becomes work to start to find, if you give yourself that rule, like I can't repeat my gratitude, then you start to become grateful also for the little things, right?
Correct.
And that's where some of the magic happens, where you're like, wow, I'm like, and it sounds silly, but you're like, I'm really grateful for my bed.
Yeah.
My bed's comfortable.
Right.
Like, not everyone has a comfortable bed.
No.
And you reflect for a moment and you're like, wow, there are people who have to sleep on the ground or who just have the same bed, for most of their life. I can go buy a new bed anytime I want. These sheets are so comfortable, and you start to like go down a spiral, but in a good way, in a healthy way, where you're really aligning yourself for the day. And that's why we do this in the morning. You can do it at night too, but you gotta do it in the morning, because what are you doing? You're setting up your Raz, right? We learned in the last episode, you're raising your frequency, you're raising your vibration. So gratitude, any manifestation book that you read, that's going to be a part of it, and that's why.
Yeah. And no, that's awesome. And then like speaking of books, another book I'd want to share with our viewers is The Miracle Morning. I'm big on that.
Yes.
Written by Hal Elrod.
And they don't even mention manifestation in that book. But what is their morning routine? So savers. So tell us, break down what that is.
Yeah, I'm big on this, right? Because I think when one is ready to kind of like come out of this rut that they're in, the stagnant place, and they're looking for change, I think a good thing to do is start to maybe figure out a routine, right? Yep. Like, because a lot of people need action. They want action steps. Yeah. Just like when we have our meetings, our business meetings, at the end of each meeting, most of these days, I'm saying, what's action steps? What's for each person, each party? What do we do? What are you doing and what are we doing? So for the people that are trying to get themselves out of rut, I recommend Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod. And there's an acronym in there that's stuck with me for years. And the acronym is SAVERS, SAVERS. And the S would be for silence, which we just talked
Covered
about that.
Yeah.
The A, you go right into affirmations.
Yeah.
All right. So after you get your silence, you do affirmations, whatever that looks like for you. The V is for visualization.
We've covered that.
You gotta visualize.
We know why we need to do that.
Correct. The E is for exercise.
Yeah.
What that looks like for me is get out. As soon as I'm done visualizing, I get out. I go for my walk.
Yeah.
I go for my walk, and I do like about a mile at least, more. Or if you stay at home, do some dumbbells, do some jumping jacks, do some push-ups. You're good.
I call it. I don't. It's not so much a walk. It's more of like a tour through the neighborhood.
Yes.
Because you're waving at everyone.
Yes.
We're good.
Well,
I love it.
My neighbors love me,
it.
and I love them. I know.
I'm like, are you going on tour?
I'm going on tour.
You're like, I'm going for a walk. I'm like, you're going on tour.
Yep. Yep. That's right.
But it's so high vibe.
It is.
It's so you.
Yeah. Yeah. So exercise is that, and then the R is for reading. Yeah. I made it a point.
Educate yourself.
Of course.
Yeah.
Tell people, minimum. Just try to take small steps. So read a chapter a day of a
Yeah.
book. Don't read the whole book. Don't try to do. Don't set a goal to read the whole book even.
Or 3 pages, right? If you're
Yeah,
new,
take
if you're
small
new
step.
to it and you don't, you know,
Well, the Miracle Morning, I'm using that as the basis because that's such a small. It's not a bad read.
that's
It's a small
their
book.
that's their like metric.
Right,
say,
like
a
yes,
chapter.
like
Okay.
do a chapter of a book.
Yeah.
And then when you get into the habit, you find like reading a chapter is really good.
Yeah.
You actually leave there, you learn something. It's good for you. It's good for growth. It's
Yeah.
good for knowledge. And then the S is for scribing. You mentioned journaling, which is the same thing as journaling. Scribing is journaling. So again, when I find myself out of balance and trying to get back into balance, I revert back to Savers, the acronym.
That really
and it
grounds
helps
you.
me ground myself, set myself for the day.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I just want to share with you
That's
guys.
really good. That's really good advice, because if someone watches this and they're like, okay, I'm the type of person that needs structure, that's the book you want to grab.
Correct.
That's what you want to follow. Okay, so when we talk about filling our frequency cup, right? The first thing we have to talk about is don'ts. Okay, there's do's and don'ts, and the things that what you have to do maybe for the first week or so is just observe your life. Just observe yourself, right? Observe these emotions. So do whatever you have to do. Print out the emotional spiral, right? Observe how often do I spend in these high vibratory emotions, and how often do I spend in the lower segment, and what gets me higher on the scale? What gets me lower? Who gets me higher? Who gets me lower? Is there certain people, certain friends that like they're just my friends because they've been my friends from high school and not for any other reason, not because they lift me up. They're always complaining. They're an energetic vampire. Observe your life. Observe the people that you're around, because proximity is power, right? And so you want to really spend that time to audit yourself. Also, what are you consuming? Okay, a lot of us are on social media all the time. We scroll at night to relax, or maybe we watch TV. The number one thing you have to stay away from if you want to manifest is the news, right? So we know that these news anchors and journalists, the more fear-based their headline is, the more money they get for the article. Okay, so that's a thing, because the media companies know that they get more clicks on fear-based headlines, okay? So that's what they're serving us. That's what they're giving us. If there's something that you need to know about that's going on in the world, you're going to hear about it, okay? But you can't be trying to manifest your dream life and be taking in this toxic sludge. So news is literally toxic sludge. It's non-negotiable. Get it out of here. If you're logging on to CNBC, 5 times a day to check the stock market, pare it down to 1. You can do that once a day. Give yourself a time limit. Set a timer, 4 minutes, and then get out of there. Because when you're rewiring your brain, you have to treat it very gently. You have to treat it like just with kid gloves. And it's like, maybe there's a time in the future when you can start consuming this stuff again, but you're in a process, you're in a rewiring process, and now is not the time. Okay?
Yeah.
So, and then, so this is you monitoring then what you're taking in, right? Then you have to start monitoring in this kind of like 1 week, your words and what you say and how you speak of yourself, because whatever you put out into the field gets bounced back to you. And it's like you have to just tell yourself all the time, my cells are listening. My cells are listening. So what are the habits what are the things that you say about yourself? Do you say, oh my God, I'm so clumsy. Oh my God, I trip all the time. And me sitting here as a manifestor, I don't even want to be saying these things as examples, but I have to.
Okay.
So I'm just going to like negate them after, right? But words are spells.
Of course.
Words are spells.
Of course.
Okay.
It's been known, a lot of successful people get into the habit of doing self-talk.
Yeah.
Self-talk.
Positive.
Yes. Do what you got to do. You stand in the mirror and say to yourself, I look good, I look good, I look good. Do it till you believe it. And I don't care if you're not the most attractive person. If you believe it, you actually start to emanate.
Your confidence will start to shine.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Hell
Like
yeah.
people think it's a real thing. It's a real thing. Because again, they say beauty's an eye of the beholder, that thing, right? Because sometimes you've seen couples, you're like, oh, them two. Kind of like us. I make joke, I go, look at you. Here with me.
Shut up.
Nice. I'm lucky. See, I manifested you. Had to have. Right? No, but seriously, it's do a lot of positive self-talk. Whether you're driving in your car, that's a good place.
You shouldn't say
Taking a
that, by the
shower.
way.
Which one?
You shouldn't say that.
I just said it was a joke. We gotta. Our viewers know we gotta keep it light and we have fun here. This is not.
All right.
We're having fun.
I don't like any negative self-talk from you there.
I know, but sometimes I'm joking, and you gotta
All right.
understand. So, anyways, right? So self-talk could be in a car, in your shower.
Yep.
Yeah, when
Or
you're
your
out
morning,
for a
your
jog,
morning affirmations.
whatever.
Yeah.
Say it in your spare time, and get into that habit. But you start to glow. You start to attract. Your vibration starts to change. I know people, friends essentially of ours, who tell us, oh man, things are just always bad and negative. And you analyze it from the outside looking in, and it's sometimes easy to just kind of see what's happening, decipher.
Yeah, once you become aware of yourself,
Oh man.
you start to become aware of others. So that's interesting.
But then you don't want to insult
You can't
nobody.
judge.
You don't
No,
want to do that.
No, you're only responsible for yourself.
Unless they really ask, hey,
Yeah.
what
am I doing wrong?
What am I doing wrong?
Yeah.
Oh, I love those questions
You're like,
because
oh, all right.
again, as I'm getting older, I sometimes you even tell me my filter is kind of getting crazy.
Yeah.
I like to.
It's becoming
if you
non-existent.
ask for my opinion or my advice or help,
Sit down.
I will
about to get
gladly
told.
give it to you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But it's the help. It's coming from a place of love on my end.
Yeah.
From a place of gratitude, and a place of, nurturing and care.
And what's like a small example, right, of like things that people say. You hear some people say this all the time. I used to say it, right? When you lose something. Oh my God, I lost my favorite pen. I can't find it anywhere. I'm looking. As soon as I buy a new pen, I'm sure it'll turn up. I've said that before. I used to say that all the time. I lose things frequently. But now they always come back to me.
Yeah.
You've seen some incredible shit come back to me.
Of course, and I don't even
I've
know.
lost my phone on buses. It's gotten mailed to me. I've had some crazy shit happen to me. Like lose it in bars, Loretta's, and someone just walks up, is this your phone? Because that's how my mindset is.
Yeah.
Right? But you have to, so taking the time, the action is just observe yourself. What stories are you telling yourself? Are you telling yourself, I'm always busy, my joints are always achy, I'm always tired? Or are you telling yourself, even though your joints are aching at that moment, are you waking up and saying, I'm pain-free and I love it?
Yeah. No. Yes.
That's the affirmation that you should be saying.
And that's tailored for me because, waking up is painful.
Yeah, you've had to do a lot of work on this because you always walked around and told the story. I'm really banged up. I was a football player and I'm in the Marine and I was in the Marines, right? And my back and this, and it was true. Like you were feeling the pain at that time, but how did you overcome that?
Right. It's again,
watching your words,
reaffirming myself. Like, listen, yes, and don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that if you don't have pain, it's not existent and you're not in pain. That's what I'm saying. However, you saying it over and over again in your mind, it's reaffirming that the pain is going to. It's just extra on top of what you're already suffering in your mind, your mental. So if anything, you're able to. It's all about reconditioning the brain. You start to reconditioning it. And
it doesn't happen overnight.
Right? No. Right? It could sometimes it could take years.
Yeah.
It doesn't, and that's where the people that could be watching this or have not done this work or experienced it would say things like, see, those, it's so funny we're saying this because those same people would be like, well, this doesn't work. And it takes that long. It must not be real. It must not work. So it's like
Yeah.
this revolving door of like, we're telling you this, and we tell you it's not like an instant fix. It could be months, it could be years, it could be, whatever. But you must stick to it. That's what's called the work. That's what's called the work. And you have to keep at it. And trust me, it changes, because we are living proof that we've manifested the life we have, and it's because of these small little things that we've done over the past decade, right? To get to the point where we're still working on ourselves.
So what I'm hearing from you is, if you want to manifest your dreams, if you want to manifest your new business, your new car, your new house, your new life, your new spiritual journey, the first step is to kind of audit where you're at, right?
Yep.
Audit where your energy is at, and just kind of don't do anything but observe yourself for a week or two. Then you're going to want to do some don'ts, right? You're going to want to stop consuming information that gives you fear, stop being around toxic people. You're going to want to stop saying toxic things, stop saying voicing those limiting beliefs that you have, because the next steps, we're going to burst through them. And then after you've kind of mastered the don'ts, and after you've like, okay, I've stopped doing all those things, now we can start adding in that morning routine, whether that be the Savers morning routine, or it has to be some combination of meditation, exercise, gratitude, and visualization. So any combination of those. And so my morning routine, right, what I do every morning is I sit in front of my vision board with gratitude, because I'm a visual person. I don't want to have to, I can come up with it in my mind, but it's easier for me if it's there. And my vision board, I made it so pretty.
It really is.
It's so like joyful to look at. You know, like what am I into? I'm into nature and flowers and just like beautiful imagery. That's what it's filled with. It's filled with positive affirmations. It's filled with, my goals. Fitness
spirituality.
Goals. Yep, spirituality. Podcast goals,
Yeah,
right? I have the Mutiny model on there, right? Here we are.
You're doing it. I was just going to say.
Here we are. So I sit in front of my vision board and I practice silence. I light a candle. I get really centered and I meditate. And then I move on. I do my affirmations. Sometimes, our leader, our daughter, will interrupt me at that point. But, then I come back and I do the rest later when I have time. But at least that core, like, important stuff for me, like, then I'll take her on a walk, right? So I'm getting my exercise and I'm making it work for me. So we're not going to give you guys a morning routine that it's like, this is what you must do. And if you deviate from it, it's time to feel guilty. It's time to be ashamed of yourself. No, that's not the vibe. The vibe is, these are the things that you need to do. And, make it what works for you. You got to write it down. You got to write down the plan. You got to figure out what your affirmations are. You got to figure out what you need to be saying to yourself, which affirmations could be their whole episode on their own.
Yeah.
Let us know if you guys want an episode covering affirmations and the power of words. We can do that.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know. What if I should write an ebook? Do you want me to write an ebook?
Out of the 700 things you're doing already? Sure. Just add another one. Why
Just
not?
like the do's and don'ts.
Okay. The comments will tell you. Don't worry, you'll get feedback, I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, because we've talked about a lot, and I want to give people a concrete strategy. So, yeah, I'm thinking about putting an ebook up on the website, mutinymodel.com, for a free download, just for people to, whether it's nine do's and 9 don'ts, and we're going to start with the don'ts, to really get started on this journey and to start changing things in their life.
I love it.
Yeah.
And I'm going to hold you to that. It's a free ebook for the people.
Okay.
I got y'all. Don't you worry. She said free.
All right. I'll do
free
it.
Free of charge.
I'll manifest it.
Good.
Starting manifestation is a 3-phase process. right? Because I want people to be really clear. What are the actions they're taking when they're done with this episode? Phase 1 is observation. Take a week or two and literally visualize yourself floating above your body for every emotion that you feel, where you're like, wow, I'm really joyful right now. Wow, I'm really pissed off right now. Wow, like every strong emotion, observe yourself and observe who's triggering you, who's putting you in a high vibe state, who did you just spend 3 hours with and you're so drained because that person is just like a taker. They take from you. They
sucking the life out of you. Just cut to it.
What do we call it? Energetic vampire.
Yeah, energetic vampires. It suck the life out of you.
Yeah.
So that's that one.
What information am I consuming that's making me happy or that's making me fearful and existing in these lower vibrational emotions, okay? So you're observing. And when you start to observe yourself, it's going to be really eye-opening. This is actually like a really important phase where it's like, could you start your morning routine tomorrow and start implementing savers and affirmations? Absolutely. But if you observe, and better yet, if you really want results, keep a journal of what you're observing, because you're going to want to look back on that in 6 months and be like, wow, I can't believe how far I've come. I can't believe how much happier I am going about my day because I'm leading with all this positivity and I've rooted out some of this negativity. It's just, this in itself will change your life. It's extremely powerful. So that is phase 1. Phase 1 is observing. Phase 2 is removing. So you're going to spend a little time, again, 1 to 2 weeks, changing some habits that are lower vibrational, changing some stories that you tell yourself, whether they're completely inside your brain, like, oh, I'll never make $100,000, I'll never make $1 million, it's totally impossible. Starting to remove those thoughts and replace them with positive ones. Starting to remove some people that you recognize during your observation phase were not meshing with your new life, right? Some of this could be a little painful. It could be a little bit of a shakeup, right? So removing lower vibrational emotions by being around the right people, by taking in the right information, and by blocking out everything else and living in your own little Delulu bubble.
Delulu.
It's okay to be Delulu. It's not going to hurt you.
Nope.
It's not going to hurt you to be Delulu for a month. Now, don't go out and start charging up your credit cards because you're rich already, right? This is where the danger comes in the manifestation community that I have encountered, right? Because I've been...
Likewise.
Yeah.
I did that. I'm laughing because I did that.
We're here to share our mistakes. We're here to share everything, right? So we've been sucked in because we've been in manifestation TikTok and YouTube, and we follow all these creators, and some of them are a little bit over the edge, right? They're like, go spend all the money first and then manifest it later. Or, sometimes there are steps, and there's a part of manifesting that is hard work. Is that, okay, you visualized what you want. You visualized that you want a photography business. You visualized, you've done all those steps. Now it's the time in the process to put in the hard work. So it's not just, lay back, accept it, it's there are times in the process, and I'm still trying to systematize this. I'm still trying to figure out, okay, when should I go hard? When should I just surrender to the process? When should I just wait for, the blessings to come in? But I promise you I'm going to figure it out.
Wow, you sound very confident in that one. That's good.
I feel like I'm sitting here teaching people what I know, and I feel like I need to be honest about what I don't know.
True.
And I feel I need to be, I'm not being authentic if I'm not saying hey, I haven't figured this out yet, but I'm on a mission to figure it out, and I'll let you guys know when I do.
That's
right?
That's awesome. That's awesome. And you could say you haven't figured it out yet. However, I think, these small steps that we've taken, I'm talking about you and I, we've made a lot of progress.
Oh, yeah.
And things have happened
Crazy things.
that we sometimes can't explain,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
There
But
are a
it
lot
feels
of
like magic.
good, great things that have
Yeah.
happened to us.
It feels like magic. Yeah.
Where we know it's a blessing for sure from the universe of,
Mm-hmm.
you know, God, the source, and it's from the work we've done. We know,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
there was no way this was supposed to happen. This deal was supposed to happen. This whatever, whatever.
Yeah.
And so we're doing something. Things have happened. I think sometimes you just don't know exactly how it happened.
No.
That's the thing.
That's the thing where
This is one
you
of
know,
the things.
oh, you're manifesting, you're calling in $100,000. This is what you want to manifest. You've set up ways that money can come to you, right? So again, this is time for another episode, but you have to make your life enchantable.
Yes.
Right? You have to, if you have a 9-to-5 job and you know you make $30 an hour and you don't do anything else for income, you're not really open to other ways of income, all you can really manifest is like maybe making $33 an hour, right? You're not going to bring in like huge manifestations. So you have to make your life enchantable. And usually that means, you know, starting side businesses, becoming an entrepreneur, networking, putting yourself out there.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And another, as I'm listening to you speak, another thing I want people to remember is when you start to work on yourself and you start to put in the work, the real work, you know, taking steps, the baby steps. A lot of people give up before their blessing,
right there.
their breakthrough
Yeah.
could be right there, and they've done it for a couple of days or a couple of weeks, a couple of months, and this thing that they've wanted, whether it's a new job, right, or a
promotion,
new car, or in a relationship, they want a new boyfriend or husband, could be right there, and they go, "This doesn't work." As soon as you do that, you're cutting the cord of everything
all the work
that
you've
all
done
the work you've
is ruined.
done.
There's a book on that, 3 Feet from Gold.
There you go.
Yeah.
Tell the people, 3 feet of gold.
She
just said
3 feet from gold.
Okay.
It's that you're digging the cave. You're down there and you're looking for gold.
Yeah.
And you give up when you're 3 feet from gold.
Oh,
That's it. And that book is like, I love that book. All about.
I gotta read that. I haven't read it.
Yeah.
So that's it. So there's that. So, you know, you have to keep it. We're telling you, we've been doing this for over a decade. I feel like I have at least.
Yeah.
And it's all been small things, not small things, but small actions. Taking actions, and small action, and then, boom, something happens.
Yeah.
And yeah, you could call it coincidence. You could call it whatever you want to call it.
We know
but
what it
you
is.
know, we know,
what
you
it
and I
is.
know. And we've spoken to a lot of people in our community.
And what do people say? People say, "Oh, you guys are lucky."
Yes. You know what? I like to be lucky.
And we say we know
Yeah.
because believing that you're lucky is part of this, right? So phase 1, observation. Phase 2, removing lower vibrational things from your life, from your essence,
or
people, from your aura. Phase 3 is implementing. Phase 3 is starting that morning routine, figuring out what that looks for you, picking and choosing. Okay, do I want a vision board? Do I just want a journal? What works for me? Trying all kinds of different things and building that morning routine so that you have a solid 30-minute manifestation routine and you're working toward your goals and your dream life. Boom.
Boom.
Mic
Sounds
drop.
good to me. I love it.
Well, thank you guys so much for being here with us. This is obviously stuff that we love to talk about. So thank you for wanting to hear it. Thank you for listening. Please submit your questions. We'll answer some of them on social media, and we'll answer some of them in the next show. And as always, please subscribe to the channels. Please subscribe to our Spotify, Apple, YouTube, wherever you're listening. And if you have found anything of value from this episode, all that we ask of you is just to share it with someone. Just to hit share on your social media really helps us to spread our message and to get it out to more people, which is our goal and which is why we do this.
That's right.
Right?
Helping one person at a time out there in the
One
world.
person at a time.
My Russian friend. Somebody from Russia subscribe. Hope you're watching this, buddy.
Russia. All right. Mutiny Model out. We'll see you guys next week.
Thank you guys.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.